Hello, me mo.
Welcome.
Na boko dear.
What the other room? I went to avoid the fact. I don't know. It's a bit clear. Yes.
Akwabi Jesus Sami Ariano. What in and was it? Who was who person here? Because I be my favorite who clear.
That means
Medase. Lord, a do Boahene issue no aban. The person walk us through legal yikakra. Attorney General. Adding the charges in the Niema Waye no press conference where the Betuja. And no one papa no so did the Ababontin say. A national security in some day, young fam pie, but Attorney General the appear or better when you say, young financial security in some period, one also one so many year. And one over chair, yes, sir. Aremeyaw Committee, Constitutional and Legal Committee of Parliament, Sika Wamoje yet to pass that National Signals Bureau bill, no, what didn't have a 2 job where the big command, why the big command, why. Not just or party then ranking our Attorney General Dr. Yen in the crown, natures one crown, Sikano Ecosini so, and what Chema and Crofo, and in Niama, watch it the Moody Abbey. And Komoy and Bremoto say,
no, not harming. On the level, I said to him, and yeah, dear, I say, when come up, when being
Daddy,
I am not for that court.
I is sub-advocate, yeah.
Exactly. But according to the lawyer, the accused person, Ankasa is of the actor and the best woman, the media. Now, by inviting public commentary on the subject matter. Now, this year, on Mankasa, as the law and the actual public debate, we are opening the matter up for all kinds of commentary. Now, welcome. We shall see where you left off. First of all, from 2017, through 2024, the Honorable Dr. Dominic Akrotinga Ayene now on yet the ranking on the constitutional and legal affairs.
Okay.
No on yet. So it is just not possible that everybody Edisika a man, no. Not on yet the ranking on the Constitutional Legal Affairs Committee of Parliament. Now, Dr. Yene, the chairman of the Subsidiary Legislation Committee of Parliament. Subsidiary Legislation Committee, a daily wage. LIs, CIs, and non-government. Substantive Act. It's here, what we say, Emrano, aside Constitution, your Act of Parliament.
Sure.
Yes, our Afenyo instruments. Instruments, no, under Article 11.7 of the 1992 Constitution. Now, the parliamentary group responsible for the form of Subsidiary Legislation Committee. Subsidiary. It will be a constitution. They can say, wow, constitutional creative, no, you can make some laws. If you are electoral commission, they create new districts or the instruments on voter registration. Also, the Subsidiary Legislation Committee. If you are minister, it will choose me under an Act of Parliament. And I know what they call Subsidiary Legislation Committee. But Ekobase substantive law. It does say Emrani Yadebeko a joint committee. It is cyber security. Ebeko defense and interior committee. Because it's a bill. In the matter at hand, we share the letter now. Miami Senior Atacha Exoya or the Atu Ghana Salon a Security and Intelligence Act. The Security and Intelligence Act is 2020 legislation. Nana do Danso Akufo Addo attempted law in October 2020. But October 2020. It didn't go through the subsidiary legislation committee. So that's the first line we have to completely deal with. But for me, Mema can say, the first 8 years, what I was doing, one of my projects has to do with criminal defense. But has to do with criminal defense. I understand how this thing is done. I was lawyer and Afenyo, NCA board members assembly. I was lawyer in Aremeyaw. I was lawyer in Ato Forson matter. And many other matters.
We are Wunya Gary was who did Papa baby Kobe Biana Homoloya no. Hey, what Jabako? Okay, away. Jammer MP.
Look, I yes, the more matter in Sin and having person.
I know Wunya Gary problem, they say. Wunya. Photo na ya na mukan na ye serious.
Maybe a guy will be a Mechiano. We want what the propaganda folder and obey for the Bible.
It's your bra.
Now, yeah, I could bring say because I didn't for subsidiary legislation, you know. And where this is substantive bill, and then it is enacted into law. Me know Cecilia. I've heard the then ranking on the Defense and Interior Committee Parliament, Miami Senior, the Honorable James Agalga. You know what I say? And more Parliament. The Security and Intelligence Act. They used to be the old Act, 1995 or so. But another so on the Rano. And another they are sentenced to it in October 2020. 2. The National Signal Bureau Act. NCA 2020 legislation. That's coming. Serious. Some men are Kwabena Agyapong. That's a Cecilia. Some men are the director or whatever of the National Signal Bureau. It's the most important thing. After 2020, was he the director? Did he become the Director General of the Signal Bureau in 2020? Now, Kweku Annan, we get by way of public at the risk that I won't be in contempt.
Okay.
I won't go into
the substantive.
What exactly is the case of the attorney? One takes the case of the attorney general, you can't appreciate what exactly is going on. Attorney general case is very simple. Ositio, somewhere between January and March, Ositio, 2020, that branch area, yes, no, Kwabena only the lead company enter into a contract. $7 million. They only supply cyber security equipment and the installation of Anyama. Okay. Now, what is the lead company? The entire $7 million. What was that?
Meet your law.
The entire money. The amount 25%. I think say $1.5 million or something. She can't empire, but just you with a check. Ina, she can expo company account. Now, what's happening? Mommy, wait a few seconds. Let me explain something.
Me patch on with you.
What we say? National there was 3 weeks. Not a war. National security brigade.
I a stadium chair on.
Stadium in town. And now, was the FN of BNI. Now almost NIP. It is the hardcore intelligence part, in a BNI, it is almost like the Bureau of National Investigation. And now, almost the first type of national security, the friend of that time, now almost friend of Bureau of National Communication. What's the Cecilia? Bureau of National Communication. The short form again, BNC. You see, we have BNI, BNC. So there's Bureau of National Investigation and then Bureau of National Communication. So there's a BNC, there's a BNI, and then there's a National Security. What was that?
Me too,
okay. It's a BNC, BNC. I'm not a cohort. Una otchere company. Una otchere company. Now look at the name of the company. BNC Communication Limited. One thing here, over here, a band BNC, Gabby. It is over kind of one minute, It is okay, despite media group, it's a DMG. So that's it. And yourself on the despite media. And our person as the general manager of despite group or despite media group. And now, on the answer of that one at despite. I appoint you general manager. You. And I want to work with the company. One man making a same name. You can say, this right media group. Why you know? DMG Communication Limited. But I
me say, me wahi. Na me nya marketing adwuma presenter na me. Ena obi epese woni despite media group adwuma na me no makote company maye no despite media communications limited signatory no me dia
it's no why say me ya what you say yourself am ya
me as agent madam me ho be principal
fantastic it's Addo you. And a branch here, your friend of Mahamadu Bawumia. What this company to mimic a buying Bureau of National Communication. It will one draw the full name by BNC Communications Limited. Or transfer with a check. Now what we say, the thing with check, no, say, the living paper trail. The photocard open digital footprint. The more check is here, now we see to account more. The evidence will be there. The account narrative will show say on this day, EBG MMAO. So and so amount through check number. If the check number you have the show also. Into the mona over 30-something million. A movie directly. What I get from the National Signal Bureau, quote unquote, then Bureau of National Communication account. Now to the private BNC communication account for the check. Now this is where we get the trick. The BNC, only one is shareholder of the BNC communication. The private company, only one is shareholder. Another company. Now this company is called Advantage Solutions. Now, what is that doing now for you?
Matthias Sepalo.
Into this BNC Communication Limited. The shareholder and now only for now are incorporating this company. It's another company called Advantage Solutions. Now question. Why did the shareholder of this company are friend of Advantage Solutions? Mr. Duwan. What does that say?
Me too, pa.
It's not only this private company is traceable to him and the wife.
And the wife?
Yes.
But be a law or this kind of Mate.
This Advantage Solution was first incorporated in 2008. 2008. It's that's basically what it is. And only for a branch through new lawyer and now me again to America on the crack I go to Ghana and I didn't have before. Sorry, because according to my president-elect, the cow and I should go. And so parliamentary committee of almost 480,000 as visa. I thought so never go to our open before. But this is where she gets it. The transaction with the release was in 2020. And that by 2023, we're closing account. The payment now all claiming of. Or this some happened in 2024. What's the connect? What's the connect? She cannot echo account. The parliament got passed. Emrano somewhere September, October 2020. The church, happened in fact 2020. Where is the connect? Where is the connect?
But Papa no so ska werum ni ade nyina so provide answers. Ebra wo kire ye dem de come parliament de ye de ye we de activities.
No, Kwaku Annan. One who said the thing with criminal law because of the higher threshold prove beyond reasonable doubt. The charges are very important.
Okay.
So for instance, a prosecutor will not charge you for fraud when the actual stealing will be danger. Because fraud anything are almost effect. The only distinction is that in stealing you take without consent. In fraud, that's defrauded by false pretense. You take but with consent. The only thing is that the consent is procured by fraud, back down. That's the distinction between stealing and defrauding by false pretense. One, only consent is wrong. Two, or consent. However, that consent no only is back down. And not like charges are they are bonus and then they say you and stealing charge. The prosecutor here said Hopeson Addo or fire no was here. But I say na baby a we Agyapong nso call ye no enye sebio ahana sikane ya ban sika nti wo yi dia ko baby a esenye adia aban in the for instance like a coba say this DNC Communication Limited like that's why for different groups of companies. You see, SDR at the end of every month, salary increase. I think hello FM. Annie. Good. If you are this month, hello FM. You can say my name. Advert. Big FM. And you're my okay more. Not general manager. A used to Big FM. So this month we using emphasia no salary. But
me too,
and then yes, but a cooperative money that which gets in just right group of company account directly to another private company account. That becomes a problem.
Okay.
That becomes a problem. That becomes a problem. And it's not me you with the little experience and the work. They can't say that you and you're good enough. The effect that they put you out in the public. The possible defense is that of Gabby. One say when you jury trial for stealing, and you want that in a bed evaluation the evidence, so hold this to yourself. If I mean you pull that from the city, I said, this is not a good strategy now. Hold it. The last time you said journalist is and the crash idea, the late Joshua Church.
Yeah, National Security Coordinator.
Then, Expóse. Say, open account. So, they said, for Joshua Church, who is him?
Or film, yeah.
Okay. also a chocolate. This day of that October 28th. Transaction is only something is clear. January to March 2020. Joshua tell me,
Aye. COVID is aye.
Exactly. So how do you use legislation in 2018 as a defense for authorizing capital funds 2 years after the fact? Huh? That's right. The defense and keeping some of this to yourself.
Okay. No, Mamma was a pan a year case in so ABC, minimum so more return date is quadia, returning date.
Say almost a idea accused not right of influential witnesses it's a Lebanon there's a fire within the fire. Because where you are making prayers when you find a bill conditions or others should be varied. Because I can say because still relate to liberty issues. Also barrier need to an application to vary the bill conditions. We must give a hearing. So it's almost like a trial within a trial. In the meantime, that is on for more like remand. While the issues that were transferred by interfere will be looked into. So let's see how it goes. It's not an easy task doing criminal defense. Like I told you, the fact that it's not an easy task at all. So maybe I'll just do that so the full head in all these matters.
Well, Madam Asano pay. Measurement last. That's a lawyer Godwin Edgy Tamaklo. And I know I train common wire MPA boss, private legal practitioner.
So far, so good. Alaska, and America say, Amamu na yebuno. Yen chrongu a bobisu wudum. And I yasorana joaka coffee shack or kind of ba yaba implement it. To buy now why who to which means I went to uncle wudum honko kinds have one there. Amamu dear. Hunibu. Amamuo is about common sense. I will identify yourself with the concerns of the people. Whenever you put me what the whole share nipa na odi omo so no dodo na average way no omo welfare with me gauge na wodo ho shem say I can say wodo onan she obi shuma da na wutime hu say de omo si hu wiase a na say de nema esitia mo a Alaska you understand the need say amamuono is about doing what the people want. It is not about somebody sitting on high horses thinking say or emperor and now or some pharaoh reincarnated when you're to me so hallelujah chorus is not that surround apart you sit to praise them. No, we are Sadrian now near the 12th century 11th century modern governance. I go to a stand of Alaska. It's a public enterprise. You drive with the people. I know the day the Nipano come no and then you local contest how things are prevailing no and a certain focus. Okay. Because as a memo is all that what that's around apart the prevailing circumstances are capture the welfare and the attention of the majority of the people. No, as a government that is what you focus and address. For instance, that's around there. You say a DBA by a friend red boys no more or no more that. It's a social crisis. As government, you veil your mind on the spot.
That's right.
You solve it. You wake up a day, you say dollar, cost rising. cause a lot of economic stir within the space. Man, Nema Boy Kosoro, as a government, you get there today, Mother, sorry, and now this month we are me, and now this year we are me. My focus is targeting the dollar because Anona neho impact affecting virtually every economic activity. It's all that governance is about. Right. For instance, education, low. Your friends say, and never be a real aircon. The last time I catch yourself football, creating its own economy. You call Europe. A rake in a lot of dividend. Countries like Spain and other places are for making a lot of money from this football economy. Africa will be lacking behind, and what is emerging is the digital economy.
That's right.
So you wake up a day as president, you ask yourself, say, how do I train and reposition young people today to take advantage and to be part and parcel of this digital economy that is emerging? When with me, yes, na a governance. That is what you do, you drive. And my culture say, Nipa da sani ye nipa boni ni sani nyankopon boy. We were bombarded. Enti all your mind na one fan shisha any framework and to regulate human behavior. Alaska obeda sorry na di nipa ye no. It's mind boggling. So framework and institutions then shisha as a form must always be at play just to ensure say nipa bedi meraso, because man on his own will never adhere to laws.
That's right.
Man will always want to have a free ride. So until say nipa bada sorry who say ade we make ofa akora ketwa na da meko jail because your fraud be defamation. Say nya sa de na wo ha obetena panyina kokora na ofa akora na ne da because there are no consequences.
Well.
So you need to create those frameworks. So for me I think say John Mahama coming, you know. Now these were the concerns on the table. People were raising a lot of things about Akufo Addo Niama na Afaso Aye. So as government, you know, want to make my back me Niama na Akufo Addo, you know, you can't do that. You do that, you will not survive. So you need to listen to the many concerns. Now, man, for can now crack pen paper no gin and change. Yes, Akufo Addo Aye, na watch out to baby. Yes, oh yeah, they are no more county, we no county. As a smart person, that is what you do. So when you get the power, you undo these things and make it better. For instance, Alaska. Abra yenya economic downturn Kroma say we were expecting the Akufo Addo government to take bold decisive decisions by cutting down the size of government, because
that's right.
Now you the balloon size so the first time we had the biggest size of government, it ended up to be the most useless government ever in the history of this country.
Oh really?
A debt, yes, for us and they and we are John Mahama now president there. You promised the people some bar making sure say me slash down the size of government. Say be ya sikana ya the finance buruburu ya na faso bia ni so no eso bete. Alaska oba ye he has done that one, and I think that a feed into the many way na man for account wasem. And you see, cutting down the size of government, you know, very often people look at the economic benefit. My culture said not just economic, but it was some symbolic gesture. A portrait to Ghanaians said this time round, you know, we have a guy sitting at the Jubilee House. He listens to the concerns of the people. He will address the concerns and for me that is positive. And with this code of way I'm launching at the Chia Alaska Airway, for me, people are not even aware said that particular code of conduct, you know, is sitting in the constitution.
That's right.
It's an uncharted territory. We've never stepped into that minefield just to check, say at least. So over the years, you know, there has been this overriding. Your friends said free way for a man for obia corruption here and there. People steal, arrogance and impunity about the order of the day. Because majority of the people we rise in politics, I have say, you know, don't go there because of merit. That's and not say because of whatever. He's there because he's a friend to this, because Madam Funi will become a constituency we need a Kwaku Annan. Enti okotena hona on kasa within no Alaska. That intellectual confidence is not there.
That's
so
right.
If you lack intellectual confidence, you need to replace it with arrogance. So arrogance na man for ya na man for ntiase o. A internal compensatory mechanism. When you lack something, you have to compensate it. You become very aggressive and very hostile. Talk to people foolishly.
So that people don't get close to
exactly.
you to expose your weakness.
So whenever you see people are always aggressive, very volatile, very arrogant, within them there is a hole. There is something deeper. They just don't want people to get close. They become hostile, and that is the only way they compensate for. But Alaska, say win him the whole year. now you're on top of your game. You don't need to be hostile to people. For instance, if somebody walks to your office, say, oh, baby, South Alaska, if you have a problem near, when are we DC for this constituency? Mr. Ubetimia, Alaska, all that you have to do is to accord the person the maximum respect. Listen to the person. Whether you do or you don't do, that person, you know, I know the day will not be worried. You understand? But if you speak foolishly to that person because you're DC, office, you should know, say, Nipa no office, you know, or Maho because we are Alaska, or Maho because we are DC. The person is coming because of the office, not you. Because a day will come, you will not be sitting at the office.
But
people will still be coming.
The office will be there.
Exactly. So if you're a very smart, broad-minded individual and you go into governance with this kind of mindset, Alaska, you survive and get out, and nothing will happen. So for me, this code of conduct that by it shouldn't just be a good paper so keke.
That's right.
Because it's obvious that most of the appointees are really going to be very arrogant because you know, say that is a must. So government must do everything. So
yes,
you know that because some of these things are natural, they come up. People feel they know they think that boss and that kind of way.
Boss.
Yes, because if you are no they need to strike balance just to know so when you're in a level.
That's
right.
Right.
A weak mindset.
I know my level. Level don't change.
Alaska, you see, if you know your game, you know how to play some of these things. So I think that the president is good. So why yes I near my way. Now mum on kosuna on check it. No making sure say I nipa bi oba from sa near my way no. Yeah, the best example I'm Ghana for who say governance and I run no for the people. Everything is for the people.
That's
not
right.
for ourselves. So yeah, the akwenya mawa is your time. Come and serve and go because we are then you go home. Akufo Addo be 8 years or whatever. And do you be as we mu don na do kwa DC and kwa MP and kwa minister staff or whatever. You should know say time da so then you exit power. You not be there forever. You understand? The best you can do is to serve humanity, and when the time comes, you go. So Alaska, in the last 120 days, John Mahama and Ghana for sign social contract. And for me, I think say the blue tick na does home.
The blue tick.
Oh yes, and I've seen a lot of critics. Professor Addo and for who over the years have been very hostile to John Mahama as a person and to the NDC. Even these people are rating him A, B plus. And clearly, my culture says we will be a sound-minded individual. We are very objective and very dispassionate. Now we had the Akoswa. You won't have much to say in terms of negativity because the gentleman has proven that indeed he was president before. He was voted out. He's learned his lessons. He's back to remake things and make things better. And for me, some of the things that he has done has been very phenomenal. For instance, Alaska, apart from the size of government here, look at the economic space right now.
That's right.
And Senka ekwaye ebinum penso na nka dollar eswatimi ate 3 cedis aba for me ya Alaska nka lectures ya ye no krom ha no nka nyade ketwa. But in all these instances me president
that's right.
Because you see, as a president, this is part of the things that you're supposed to do. You understand that? Yes, but John Mahama minyanti so never be celebrated said dollar so
no
and any news within the space. Nobody's even talking about it.
That's
but
right.
Alaska is a huge way. Say yet me drive on a man for mokra near my bansu who say dollar na swati. So there is the need for you to also bring down your things and then as a form. I think that Ghana me ebe feel that particular impact na me who say sebi. Niama na esesano ekoye Ghana for afa enuma some this entrepreneur ideas you see early days yet to put a premium or price on this because implementation afa ya certain emotion how it's going to be. But for me I think say your mind now what say you want to boost the entrepreneurial skills of young people. Alaska, that country will grow because over the years some mistake na yaye obi free school ababi e buy adwuma ye.
Oh,
do you know say Kroma say averagely abuy adwuma the average pay 3,500
average pay.
Yes. Alaska what's it Accra now with you yan wonware nwoye now you watch akatua 3,500 can you even survive? How much more be aware na oje 3,500 wo ma obakwana na yere so ni adwuma
3,500
depression na de be ko wodi wan ga da petasi ni na so for beka ho
what did they
apetashi so Alaska is way so we need to train people say you cannot always be job seekers.
Exactly.
Be a job creator and have the capacity to employ others. Entrepreneurial skills training. There are a lot of stuff that you can do, especially with this advance of social media. You can also use it to promote business. Some of the ladies, how do we empower these people to become job creators? Training other people. The focus will not be police. Police na police na bribe na police me ko soja uwia ya si SS dormitory na mpasisi wa tata so sabro san no soja ni a wa bonte bi na kwakwada enti me pesoja kutu bribe na
Inspector Koti
Alaska. We need to train people say na we asena ye wom no young people can create their own job and become owners of enterprises, you understand?
Well.
So government is ready to boost and ensure say finances will be available over the years. Mistake I and say some of these things, we don't look at people with the qualities, so we look at constituency executive. Sana Emma Masrog a useless enterprise.
Oh,
Masrog mfas will be end so a chrono avenue.
Messi, I'm not catching so say Maslog, we call Eastern Regional. Yeah, regional executives me no pe sika wo maji wo Maslog o mentua no. Ye boakye wa uyambe.
Yes.
That's right, uyambe show.
Yes.
And very soon we shall publish their names.
Na say NDC person ma me no so ye na so kwatena ma no up to no so my.
That's right.
That's right. Always been with the way ya create say a avenue. Ye the we sika na say the support party for the party ni so je sika na dwe ne say otoma unti na adema no.
That's right.
But these are enterprises, they are very people with the genuine skills. That promote they don't get it. You understand? So this time round, I think that the playbook must change. Now enquire lip service keke. Now you making sure say genuinely me say I don't care whether the person is MPP or MPC.
No.
As long as the person is a Ghanaian.
That's right.
And all the requisite skill set to prevail, let's help people, because at the end of the day, Ningina will have impact on the growth of the economy. You understand? But over the years, party for no mudim the kwakwaji sikano or no omia juma bia or na no never kwakwaji.
That's right.
Oji na wedi. Wunya no hwe nyeye. Na maslog bosses no mutu on so krono because omanfo awia no ntu wia osoro ho.
Free for all.
Exactly. So over the years, and some of these enterprises, and Akufo Addo pencil why ye those kind of wedding, every now by extension of party offices. Doli sika to party supporters in that for no. I know the day ubeko books no for millions of dollars ayira, but there is no single entrepreneur will be able to make creative baby. So this time around, Ghana for at the end of the 4 years they will come to judge the government. Now you see that the euphoria is high, people are happy, but don't be mistaken. A time will come, Ghanaians will sit down, put pen to paper,
that's
and
right.
review this government from day one, the entire 4 years. So the over and no homework now for the Bema. That day will come. We are all sitting here. So I think we need to do things right. Then making sure that this time round, no Ghana for nuni ho. So to Abama buying, now to Abama buying some for so baso. There are a lot of stuff happening at Yahubi Pen. But that's major focus has to do with this fight against corruption, this kind of stuff. You see. Me say Mahama buying we say $1 echo 1 cedi. There are a significant number of people of Ghanaians that they don't care.
That's right.
What I say, the omo party and say cromfo no mo we sika no.
Ya chewo
omo for mo ko jail. Na no be catch them say hey, opa ma Mahama nsi abrosan ma efie bia on fa. Am fa no. The one say omo mo we sika no. Go to jail. That is a sacred responsibility that is imposed on this government.
That he need not to fail.
No. Because Alaska, over the years, you created a certain culture. Be a Ghana there, a bind there, Obia we are fan hoodie. Obia we are not fan hoodie. And now Branty Yamuchini, here, Sabian Quasasamoti seller can say,
that's right.
Sikano G and Chichama political party. And now, when you weak people in the media also giving some of these things. Alaska, me, I do what he's we are, no. So the financier Mahama say, on the 12 we are Mahama Banta. I don't care. What I know, this is what we are Sika. And that is what matters. Sikano we no opa o de kosi amro sama kwa me nkroma opa hwan opa NDC supporters nyina na video me amete em fa me ho. The bottom line is say Sikano you stolen money And what you are not supposed to use it for, no, that's what you use
it
for.
There is so no say who say oye den amudi na twedimti ensem bia o bekeka no beka.
And I catch us Akufo we nim nyansa.
O da bi o.
Because say our lawyer na
ni lawyer ni attach
client twero say bi enkwasa say mo egu paper so na say wo sanhye mo de we ba bontia e kire how weak minded these people are. I've been telling you, these people have been hyping themselves, but their intellectual capacity is very low.
More poverty of intellect.
Poverty of intellect, but when there's severe poverty. Alaska, severe poverty of intellect.
But serious, so we are Krofo Munim Yansa.
Alaska, and you see, my fasika, na me mawebino. That has been the old playbook of criminals around the world.
8 million.
Yes, Alaska. No, it's a criminal's philosophy. And the war can be it doesn't my history. When in Papa be a normal friend, your friend saying, not Tom Cocaine or Colombia, normal friend, Pablo
Escobar.
There is no single person of Colombia, not or your Papa Chino. Alaska, or more better no. And Krana Mamma for no more born hobbying because the guy will go and sell drug, kill people, make all the money, or buy through Christmas. I know what it's politics. Not if you or Chichema here for that. What this has always been the criminal's philosophy. El Chapo in Mexico, also one of the most intelligent drug baron in the world. Honestly, that was the same thing he was doing. I tell you, Christ, Kroma. Yes, we are not the Boahene for more in the area. A criminal's philosophy.
I'm robbers. Sorry,
Alaska. So they are all canon. You are not reinventing anything. It's an old playbook.
Yachiwa also. And Azuskano, Medivito, Diana Mamudia. And
for Bia, hey, or Perkrana, or the Kunyane Kwame Nkrumah, or Beba next week, you can fire. The bottom line is you stealing money, and we need to be very ruthless and deal with some of these.
That's right.
And somewhere air cost we sunshine Ghana for before the more. What I say?
That's right.
So I'm calling on the Attorney General. Say, our responsibility where they are shining say he should not afford to fail the people of this country because they John Mahama Baye behind the entire 4 years. No, if he doesn't jail people, Ghana would never forgive him. And that is Utia Bontia.
That's right.
The sentiment being expressed by the people, you know very well. Hey, if these people don't go to jail for the crimes that they have committed, one, you send a signal, say your own people will come and do the same thing. You understand that? And you'll be begging for clemency in their stead when that time comes. You understand? I think that this time round, Ghana for Donaniate, sa games, you know, we need to make sure, say, Obio. For instance, Cecilia dapaah.
That's right.
But be a sassy no nya, Mekacha said these people are so damn to the extent that you ask yourself, say, Nipana or no, what we are dollars, Akogunem passing or Obiako we are beer. What you mean now that Agyarko police station?
Make one report na Misika.
Yes.
Ada oye diabolo.
Yes. And a police for no so who can for so a tyranny or Obia Baba can't say we are $1 million or madam. No one parampowered in a cheap. A quack penny for cratching at the Cóurt. It is Obia Ba police station our catch us say me the nipati ashe me free me buy Obia Begi. Because Alaska we are talking about yes.
Oh yes, they are not serious.
Yes, because $1 million in an individual home. How? When your bank and now your house is not a bank. We have financial regulations. How much of this forex you can keep in as for no more. So to say you have more than $1 million in your account, you should need certain authorization from Bank of Ghana. Actually, why you should keep that particular money there? In the first place, the forest is not our money.
And only I am one was say Banisano. Would a month for so move so much to move a defend? They said, to the sense, Afenyo Nasa Obiamba Casa Nisika.
Alaska, Kromano.
Freddy Blame.
A man focus I will mention law elsewhere to advance the cause of society. Hano. sometimes who be to TV no so more lawyer without a lawyer na dey o be anajo dey ni bi anasa ahomache dey ni. Sometimes it's so shameful, you understand? Because sometimes some of the argument people activate on TV and then me say me time here TV sao. Oh, because some of these your fans saying silly analysis na sa change the na say for no. I don't have time for those things. But what you want obubefu the panyini pa wa hu say nipa we wonim de na o kan sabi ensem hu no TV so. You know sometimes it doesn't inspire. So for me I think, sir, this duty is sacred one. Okay. We need to make sure, sir. Ahotoswa Ghana for nya omodoko deal as koto abama President Mahama. So far in the last 120 days, he has demonstrated sufficiently, sir. To them, sir. He's indeed on top of the job, right? And he's willing. He should not waver. And one has to do with what is going on our Chief Justice side and then the Supreme Court in Alaska. You see, apart from saying jail. People who have stolen our money, institutional weaknesses over the years, has been very overwhelming. That's right. We cannot afford to move to the next stage of the Ghana that we seek with the same weak institution. That's right. We need to restructure this institution. That is why we are president at this time. You need to be very strong. Extremely strong. We ward all of them off. As long as things you're doing are right, situated in the context of law, you know, say you are not infringing on any constitutional, your friend is saying, rules of Webi, you are good to go. You do these things, posterity will judge you. That's you understand? Right. Because we cannot be shaped by this unwitty criticism by some of these weak-minded individuals out there. Sebi, recently, or more exerted power. And Afenyo Markin and Co are bold enough to tell us how they are patriotic. These guys are sick.
Serious.
They are sick in the head. Alaska.
Thanks for watching. Like and share the video. You can also drop your comment. Please don't forget to subscribe. Click on the bell to turn on the notification.